Alright. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of System Shock Radio. I, as always, am your host, Nigel. Now, I did try to go live earlier, but I was having some technical difficulties, so I just decided to do a pre recorded video. And that's something I'll do if I'm unable to go live in the future. If for some reason I can't go live with my regular equipment, including my laptop setup and everything, and what I'll do is either I'll use this laptop camera, my regular built-in one, which is kind of blurry, so I do apologize, or I will go live with my phone here and just have my topics listed out. Now, the reason I'm a bit reluctant about going live with my phone is because my notes are also on here, and of course, as you may or may not have noticed, I like to refer back to my notes when I talk about certain topics. But nevertheless, let's get started here, and we're going to get started to the answer to last episode's riddle, not necessarily last week, because last week was the update video, and that one didn't have a riddle, and the last episode, like the last proper episode of System Shock Radio, was about a month or so ago. So, with that being said, let's read last episode's riddle, and it's what goes up but never comes back down. The answer to that is a pretty simple one. That's age. So, well, of course, as you get older, you cannot get back your younger years. And so, as we keep on aging, we keep on growing older. I know a lot of people are sad about it, but it's not always a sad thing because oftentimes with age comes wisdom. But that's a topic for another time, I feel like. But nevertheless, if you got that one right, congratulations to you. If you didn't, no worries, don't sweat it. You'll have another opportunity to get it right when I reveal the riddle for next week. So, with that being said, let's get right into our topics. And this one is a bit of a story time. It's been a while since I told a story, and that is the story of my first Nintendo DS. So, in order to understand the story, we're going to have to make the quantum leap back to the year 2012. 2012 was a interesting year. Everybody thought the world was going to end, and now we fast forward to 2020 when everyone thinks the world's going to end. So, 2012 also had a bunch of other interesting stuff in my life and in the lives of people that surrounded me. But nevertheless, we're going to jump to Christmas time. I'm kind of so when I say Christmas time, I mean more so the beginning of December, the end of November towards the beginning of December, around that time frame, because that is when my parents do their Christmas shopping. And what they would do is my mom likes to shop online a lot. And she would order the gifts, or they'd be out and about getting gifts from the store when it's not too packed. Like, of course, they can't go on Black Friday because it's an absolute madhouse, and apparently they're not opening in the store for physical purchase. Well, I shouldn't say. Let me rephrase that. They're not like physically opening a lot of stores on Black Friday, I guess, to minimize like crowding everything, because of course Black Friday is infamous for it being like thousands of people fighting over or all the necessities. And with the Xbox Series X and the PS5 coming out, if COVID hadn't struck this year, chances are it likely would have been a war zone in there. But anyway, so parents, what they would do is get their gifts, and they get the gifts for me and my sister, and then they would get gifts for each other and hide them. So what they did is whenever they would go out and me and my sister were home alone, what me and my sister did was we went in their bedroom, is the master bedroom of my house, and we went looking for the gifts. Of course, it was like an espionage spy mission, and because one of us usually had to play the lookout, and we got keen to hearing whenever the car would pull up, and of course my dad likes to listen to the radio, so we listened for the sounds like music, and that would mean, oh crap, mom and dad are home. cease operation right now. So we got efficient at listening out for them. But what we do is we go around the room and sort of searching for our Christmas gift, because as kids we were impatient and very, very impatient. And now it's something, of course, that you can't do nowadays because it's kind of pointless. But back then we would be super hyped, and we'd be like, oh my god, I wonder what they're getting us. So we go searching for them, and we checked everywhere. So much so that they even had to change the hiding place. I think eventually they realized, even though me and my sister tried to cover our tracks as much as we could, like if we moved something to look for it, we put it back close to the way it was. But I think eventually I think they knew all along what we were doing, because they ended up changing their hiding places, partially because of this incident. So one time when we were searching, we looked around and we found on a certain Nintendo DS game. Now, up to that point, first of all, me and my sister weren't like the other kids. We didn't really have a DS growing up in like third or fourth grade. We didn't get our DSs until this year, but this time around we found a Nintendo DS game, and that was New Super Mario Brothers DS, aka probably one of the best Mario games in a lot of people's opinions. And dang, Mario really hasn't had a bad game, which is incredible. I think the only time that Mario has come close to having a bad game that I can think of is Hotel Mario, but that's a story for another time. But we found this game and we got super excited. We were like, whoa, we're getting DSs, yes! But we noticed that was the only DS game. We didn't find the DSs. We didn't find the any other games. So we were like, oh, there's only one game. That means only one of us might be getting a DS. Who knows? But we found the game, and we at first didn't tell our parents, but somehow, I forgot how they found out, but somehow they found out that we went snooping, and they were not too happy about it. But come Christmas time, we both ended up getting DSs, and we both got some games to kick off our DS library. Now, I got the Mario game, and my sister ended up getting the Mario game for her birthday. Our aunt got it for her. So, pretty cool stuff as a kid, but of course, we honestly, truth be told, me and Alana should have learned our lesson after this, but somehow we didn't, because we kept snooping around, and eventually we found on a different console that we ended up getting. But that's another topic for another time. But we got Nintendo DSi's, so those were noted for having the camera. And what we would do is we take various pictures. This is before we had like cell phones with cameras. Me and my sister didn't really have phones growing up. I didn't get my first phone until I started high school, and it was a tiny track phone. But didn't get my first phone until high school. But what we do is we took pictures on our DS cameras, and the pictures were super, super blurry, because the DS camera wasn't really that great. I didn't really expect it to be, because you're not really there for the DS camera all the time. You're more so there for the DS games. That's why many people play the DS. It's like, I'm sure if the Game Boy had a camera, it probably wouldn't have been that great either. But we would take pictures, we would send some of the pictures to each other. They allowed you to edit the pictures, which was pretty cool. And we would chat with PictoChat. We played Mario together. It was just so much fun. And the reason I brought up the story is because not only it was a funny story to tell, and to be honest, I probably should have told the story around Christmas time, but better early than late, and better late than never, I guess. But the thing is Nintendo just stopped, just stopped the Nintendo DS library. So, The Nintendo DS family consists of the first DS, and then the DSi, then the DSi XL, then the 3DS, 3DS XL, new Nintendo 3DS, new Nintendo 3DS XL, the Nintendo 2DS, and the new Nintendo 2DS XL. Well, a lot of DSs, but I had the DSi, and then later on, another Christmas, we got the 2DSs. These were the ones that didn't fold, which, honestly, the 2DS was kind of dumb, but it's alright because when I started my Mayor Summer Youth internship later on that year, I bought myself a 3DS, and then I eventually got the 2DS XL. Which the 2DS XL was a huge upgrade from the regular 2DS because, for starters, this one folded, but it was mainly just the new Nintendo 3DS XL, but without the 3D feature, which I didn't really use that much to begin with, so it was a huge upgrade. But and I think I still have mine somewhere, but I haven't played it as much because now I have my Nintendo Switch. So it would seem that Nintendo's no longer focusing on the DS, so they can focus on the Switch and a potential sequel to the Nintendo Switch, which we're probably not going to get a sequel to the Switch for a few years. So don't expect it to come out like within the next year or so. They probably won't release a sequel to that until later on down the line. But I want to pose a question to you all, and that is, do you think Nintendo will go back to making home consoles? Because the Switch is essentially a hybrid console. The Switch is what the Wii U should have been, and I honestly think the Switch is what the Wii U was supposed to be, where it blended console gaming, with handheld gaming, but where the Wii U failed, the Switch, I feel like they got that right. But nevertheless, that's how I got my first DS, and that's how I got caught finding out I was getting a DS. But anyway, let's move on to cheating in relationships. So, for those of you who may not be up to speed, Cardi B has recently filed for divorce from her husband Offset, claiming that I shouldn't say claiming. It was known that he cheated on her and she stayed for some reason. Not sure. That's our business. But I guess it became too much, and now she wants to leave him. Now, I will say this: is I'm not really a Cardi B fan. Nothing against her, just not my musical preference. But when it comes to cheating, I feel like I probably can put in my 2 cents, because we had this, and then, of course, earlier on, we had Jada cheating on Will. Well, so I guess now is as good as time as any to put in my 2 cents, strike while the iron's hot. So, me personally, I never really understood cheating, and only because I feel like it's a waste of time. Like, if you don't want to be in a relationship with me, then don't be in a relationship with me. Now, I understand that's easier said than done in a lot of cases. Is, of course, domestic abuse and everything is something that's very prevalent, and a lot of people feel like they can't leave relationships. If they feel like they can't leave relationships because of financial reasons, because of family reasons, but that's their business, that's their life. But me personally, I say, if you don't want to be in a relationship with me, don't cheat on me. Just break up with me, and we'll go our separate ways. It's an analogy I like to come up with, and it's not, thinking back on it, it's not a really good analogy, but it's good enough, I feel. Well, I compare it to, like, let's say an ice cream truck owner is giving away free ice creams. Hopefully all the kids have masks on. They probably don't, but the ice cream man is giving away free ice cream to all the kids. And he says, okay, hey, ice cream, I'm giving away ice cream to everyone. You can only get one. But of course, that one bad kid has to get two. he gets 2 ice creams. Now, because the ice cream man has a limited supply, now someone else can't get the ice cream. I feel like that kind of relates. It kind of doesn't, but it kind of does. Is to where if you're taking 2 ice creams, then another person can't get ice cream. And I know that's a bit of a bad analogy, but I feel like that kind of relates here. Here, stop cheating on your ice cream. Stop taking 2 ice creams. But I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. Maybe I'm not delving deep enough into it. Like I said, I'm not in charge of her life or her life decisions. Cardi B is a fully functioning adult. She is free to make her own decisions, and her decisions are none of my business and not my concern. But just wanted to put my 2 cents in while everyone's still talking about it. And of course, it's wrong that Offset cheated on her, I feel, and it's wrong that Jada cheated on Will. But that's about it. Let's move on to the Avengers video game. So, not last week, but week before last, I finished the Avengers video game, and I actually started it. It was the 6th that I started it, which was day before. No, it was the 5th. It was that Saturday I started it, and then I ended up finishing it that Thursday, which is kind of disappointing because I wanted the game to be longer. Unfortunately, it wasn't, and each time I played, I didn't really play for too long, but I feel like the game could have been a bit longer. It's one of those games that leaves you wanting more in the bad way. Now, there's games like Spider-Man that came out a couple years ago, which left you wanting more in the good way because it was such a nice, lengthy story. It was a lot of fun to play through, and you're like, oh my god, this is so fun. I can't wait for the next game. But Avengers, I feel like, ended before it could really begin. And when I was going to do a mission, I saw it was the final campaign mission, which is the mission right before the MODOK boss fight. I was like, that's it? That's it? I think it took me almost a month to beat Spider-Man, but it only took me a few days to beat Avengers, which is super disappointing. I'm like, why? And of course, I know the side content and everything, and that's one of the saving graces is the side content. And for the game kind of lengthens it hit a little bit, but as for the main story, it's over in just I think they said it takes around 8 to 10 hours to beat, which to some may sound like a lot, but there's other games like Kingdom Hearts or God of War or Spider-Man, as I mentioned, that go on for longer, and it was a bit disappointing to see it end so soon. But there was a lot of good that the game did. For example, I feel like they nailed Kamala Khan pretty nicely. Now, I admit, before the Avengers game, I knew who Kamala was, but I didn't really know that much about her. But I feel like this game will kind of make you a fan of Kamala. She had a pretty good role in this game. But the other Avengers didn't really have too much time to shine, I feel like. Hulk had now there was the intro level, the A-Day level, where you got to play as each Avenger, or including Kamala pre-powers, but throughout the main meat of the story, you didn't really get to play as too many of the other Avengers that much. So the other 5 Avengers besides Kamala, aka Miss Marvel, which it's surprisingly she was never referred to as Miss Marvel in the game. Now, she calls herself Miss Marvel because she's a huge fan of Carol Danvers, the original Miss Marvel. But the other Avengers you can play as in this game are Hulk, Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and Black Widow. Now, Hulk was there for a good portion of the game, and then Iron Man came a bit later, but Black Widow came around the halfway point. Thor and Captain America didn't come till the end, though, with Captain America coming around the tail end when the game was almost over. So the other Avengers didn't really get too much time to shine story-wise, which I thought kind of sucked. But at least you still got to play as them, and like I said, the bonus missions you can play as any of the 6 Avengers, and they did get the powers of the Avengers right. And I feel like compared to other superhero games, I feel like they nailed like Thor, Iron Man, Cap, Hulk, and Black Widow. Oh, and they had most of the powers that they did have. It was really awesome to see like the Hulkbuster and everything in there, but I feel like they could have did a bit more with it. And it was kind of lacking in heroes. Now, some of the heroes they're going to add later on for DLC, like Spider-Man's going to be coming up. They talked about adding Black Panther, or 2 versions of Hawkeye, both Clinton Barton and Kate Bishop from the Young Avengers, which is surprising me that there was no other Young Avengers in the game. And then I believe they said Doctor Strange as well. Oh, but it was a bit disappointing that the game was kind of short, but I still had a bit of fun. And of course, there's the technical issues that the game had. At like, for example, one of the cutscenes that played, and I remember exactly which cutscene it was. It was when Thor joined the group after AIM attacked the I cannot think of the name of it. The ship they were on, the Chimerian, I believe it was called. Well, after AIM attacked them, and then they were going to review the footage showing George Tarleton locking Cap in the server room. That cutscene, the audio didn't play, so I had to skip it and then rewatch the cutscene on YouTube, which kind of sucked. But that and some glitches here and there, but that was kind of disappointing. Now, of course, there's just about every game, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2, has glitches, but the audio being off, and I checked the audio settings and everything for the game, everything was working fine, but for some reason the audio just cut out, which was pretty weird. But I also liked MODOK as the main villain. MODOK, I cannot wait for MODOK to come to the MCU. Maybe I'm alone when I say that, but I feel like MODOK would be pretty cool to see in the MCU, and I do like the look that he had in this game with like the hover chair and like the tentacles and everything. And I feel like they nailed MODOK. But I will say MODOK would probably look kind of creepy with live action, but nevertheless, that's about it for the game. And I'm gonna go through these next 2 topics kind of quickly because I am kind of reaching my time limit. Hit a little bit. I have about 7 minutes left. If I try to have a 30-minute time limit for myself, but we're gonna go through these next 2 topics kind of quickly. The first is the Rick James movies being filmed in Buffalo, of course. Rick James is a native Buffalonian, so it makes sense that the movie's going to be filmed here in Buffalo, and it's pretty cool that they're going to have a movie about him, but I wonder exactly who's going to play him. So drop in the comments who you would want to see play Rick James. And finally, let's talk confidence. Now, confidence is something that I've struggled with, that I'm sure a lot of you have struggled with, and it's something that's so important. But confidence essentially is what allows you to keep going and to help you feel good about yourself and what you accomplish. But confidence sometimes gets shaken because of what happened. And for example, there's some things about myself I'm not too confident about, such as sometimes I'm not confident about this radio show I'm doing, but I know that if I keep pressing forward, I eventually will improve as time goes on. But there's confidence in that, some confidence in my personal life, and especially with how I talk. So for those of you who may not have noticed, I stutter way more than I'd like to, but it's one of those things where the confidence has to be built up to where now confidence contrary to popular opinion, is not quite arrogance. Arrogance is thinking that you can do no wrong, that you're absolutely perfect and flawless in every way, which no one is. But confidence says, you know what? Despite my flaws, despite what I go through, despite some of my setbacks, I'm still gonna press on. I'm still gonna keep moving forward. I feel good about myself. I feel good about what I do, and I'm not going to let anything stop me and stand in my way. So, if you want to see changes in yourself, one of the first things you have to do is build up your confidence. Now, easier said than done, but trust me, it's absolutely possible. And confidence is key in a lot of places. Confidence is usually the difference between you nailing the job or not, you asking out that girl, asking out that guy or not. Confidence may even be for something like this, starting a talk show or a podcast. For those of you who I've seen start up your YouTube channels, your talk shows, your podcasts, as some of you who are posting music, I am so proud of all of you. And that takes a lot of confidence to say, you know what, I feel good about what I do. I feel good about this, and therefore I'm going to make it work and make it happen. So I'm so proud of all of you. But that is going to do it for this week's episode of System Shock Radio again. And unfortunately, sorry that I wasn't able to go live. We'll try to go live again next week. But like I said, if we're unable to go live, I'll do a pre-recorded video like this one, or I will go live from my phone. But that's going to do it, as I am almost out of time. So, of course, we're going to leave off with next week's riddle. And next week's riddle reads, what is the most curious letter? And let's read it one more time. What is the most curious letter? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, that is going to be your riddle for next week. If you enjoyed System Shock Radio, if you enjoyed it in the past, if you enjoyed this episode today, if you're new, consider leaving a like, leaving a reaction, leaving a comment, share, all that good stuff. And I will see you guys later. Have a great day, have a great week, and have a great life. Peace.